Episode with some news out of Spain, where the Youth World Championships are taking place. And this news comes courtesy of Team USA Boxing. Light welterweight Dedrick Coughlin out of Tacoma, Washington, made a strong statement in his opening bout against Tran Minh Tri Pham out of Vietnam. Coughlin came out strong in the first round, controlling the fight to take all 5 judges' cards at the end of the round, including one judge scoring the round 10-8. The American picked up the pace, landing numerous combinations and body shots against his opponent to extend his lead after all 5 judges scored the round 10-8. The second day of boxing, which I think was yesterday, we'll see featherweights Cornelo Phipps out of Oxford, Pennsylvania, and Yoselin Perez out of Houston, Texas, take to the ring. Phipps faces Bolivia's Sebastian Daza Gutierrez, while Perez goes head-to-head against Isu Devrishova out of Azerbaijan during the second session. USA National Development Boxing coach Chad Wiggle out of Colorado Springs is leading the team during these championships with assistant coaches Gilberto Garza out of San Antonio, Blanca Gutierrez out of Pacifica, California, and Richard Stevenson out of Middletown, New York, as well as USA Boxing Strength and Conditioning fellow Gillian Brennan, who's out of Overland Park, Kansas. Overall, there are 593 boxers from 73 different countries competing in La Nucia, Spain, and they're all competing for one of 25 world titles. And the competition, in fact, runs until Saturday and can be easily followed and found online. Let's move along to other fight news taking place, as we reported earlier this week, in California. We've got the final card line up for Path to Glory, which will take place at Doubletree Hotel. Lou Lopez is going up against Adrian Gutierrez. Manuel Flores is going against Armando Torres. Nelson Oliva going toe-to-toe against Mike Plazola. Ioannis Manolidis is going up against Eric Benitez. And Juan Sanchez against Miguel Angel Barajas. So tickets are available online at thompsonboxing.com. We congratulate them on putting this fight together. And the event, as I've mentioned before, is being sponsored by Hustler Casino, LA's only luxury casino. Let's move along to RDR Promotions over in Pennsylvania. They're making their return to the Yesha Center, the Grand Yesha Ballroom. It's on Snyder Avenue on December 3rd with a huge night of professional boxing. There's a 6-round featured bout where undefeated David Stevens will fight Christopher Brooker in a 6-round super middleweight bout. Stevens out of Reading, Pennsylvania is 11-0 with 8 knockouts. The 22-year-old Stevens is coming off a 2nd-round stoppage win over Luis Barberio on July 23rd in Dallas, Texas. Sorry about that. In the co-featured bout, Brendan O'Callaghan, 3-1-1 out of Philadelphia, will fight Boma Carmo, 3-0-1 out of Sharon Hill, Pennsylvania, in a 4-round super welterweight contest. Welterweight Mark Dawson Jr. will fight Evency Dixon out of Lancaster. That's a bout scheduled for 6 rounds, by the way. And in 4-round bouts, you've got Edwin Cortez. He's going to take on an opponent to be named later. Yalike Holden, again, facing an opponent in the junior lightweight division to be named later. Gandhi Romain out of Union City will fight an opponent to be named later in the super welterweight division. Aaron Peterson, 2-0, out of Philadelphia, fights Dwayne Williams out of Philadelphia in the middleweight class. Romel Terrell out of Chapel Hill, North Carolina, will make his pro debut against Jerome Allen out of Augusta, Georgia, in a heavyweight bout. Did I say heavyweight? Yes, I did. Can't get away from those heavyweights. Najeem Johns, 1-0 out of Philadelphia, fights Anthony Young out of Philadelphia in a super lightweight battle. Jayon Tinnen out of Philadelphia takes on Juan Gutierrez out of Nicaragua in a super flyweight bout. So tickets are available, and you can go to RDR Boxing for more information. Again, that's a good fight coming up in December in Philadelphia. Over to England we go, where we see that Liam Davies has vowed to succeed where his fellow Englishmen have failed and defeat Ionut Baluta on home turf. The two will go toe-to-toe for the vacant European Super Bantamweight title to be held at the Telford International Centre with the BT Sports cameras rolling live. And that'll take place Saturday, November 19th, which happens to be tomorrow night, as far as we're concerned. Telford's own Davies is the reigning British champion, having dethroned Mark Leach to claim the belt. When last in action 5 months ago, Leach was down in the very first round and battled hard to see the final bell, but Davies was worthy and unanimous points winner. And that was his crowning glory at the Telford International Centre, with another rich prize awaiting there if he's able to see off Spain-based Romania visitor Baluta on fight night. Good for him. Davies said, "I'm going up the ladder. I feel ready for the opportunities that are coming. My craft has improved, and that's what I want to carry on, showing people. If the opponent really doesn't matter, all I really care about is getting my hands on that belt. I'll take him on with a smile on my face. I know he's tough, but that is where he's going to come unstuck. He throws a lot of shots, but he also walks into a few, and I believe that's where I can hurt him. I really feel confident I can take this chance. I can conquer Britain, Europe, and then there's just one more left, which is the world level." Yes, he is right. Elsewhere, from BCB, we see that Michael Stevenson wants to become the pride of the Midlands after becoming eligible to box for the area's super middleweight title. And that opportunity comes on Friday night. That might be tonight, yes, at the Park Inn Hotel for all you listening over there in Northampton. The show was scheduled to take place on September 9th, but was postponed by the BBBFC due to the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. English champion Zach Shelley is expected to move up and relinquish belt with William Webber in possession of the Southern Area strap, with Stevenson setting his sights on the Midlands alternative after another run out. The 29-year-old missed a July date due to injury and at last stepped in the rings for competitive combat in May, outpointing Lewis von Poch in his maiden six-rounder through a 59-55 scoreline. That improved his pro record to 6 wins and 1 defeat, all over the distance, the sole blip coming against Danny Shannon in 2018. Stevenson said, "If I can get active and keep on winning, there's some big fights out there for me. I'm pretty much living in Northampton now with the time at the gym. I'm now eligible to box for the Midlands title. It's vacant, and we've looked at opponents. I'm just waiting to get going again. I've already done a 6-rounder, and this will be another step up for me. I'm 29, but I feel like I've got the body of a 21-year-old. Don't know if that's a benefit. I didn't really get out of first gear over 6 rounds. I felt like I controlled the whole fight. My opponent, Lewis von Poch, was stronger than I thought, but he didn't want to engage. He had to go in the first round, but I caught him with an uppercut, and I kept on changing the angles that I was throwing my punches from, and I was pleased with the performance. I'm not playing around. I want to take the opportunities when they come, and I'll be ready when that happens. I believe that I can compete at a high level, and I've only ever lost once." Sam Daly finally comes back home to fight a first ring date in his hometown since back in his amateur days. He returns to the ring when BCB Promotions stage a Friday night fight, that's tonight, at the Park Inn Hotel in Northampton, down on Silver Street. The show, as I said, was to take place September 9th, but got postponed. The 26-year-old super welterweight was back in action 42 days after outpointing George Rogers, and recorded a points shutout over Paul Cummings, with the verdict on that occasion 40-36. Daly comes from a fighting family and has an amateur grounding under his father Arthur at Kings Heath Boxing Club, which saw him close to becoming a national champion. His amateur career saw him rack up 36 wins out of 47 bouts, and he reached the final of the 2013 National Association of Boys and Girls Clubs competition. That's the NABC. He's now coached by James Conway, training out of the Team Shoebox Gym in Northampton, where his next assignment will take place. Daly said, "My first scheduled pro debut was supposed to be in Northampton, so I'm really looking forward to this one. I'm really excited about it. There's no more pressure on me than when I'm actually making my debut, which is the most nervous I've ever been, and that includes a national final as an amateur. That was tough for me, having been out of the ring for so long, but I felt a lot more comfortable in the ring since then. I've eased back into it and come onto my own. I think I'm doing a pretty good job of developing, so I'm content where I'm at, and I feel more and more confident in sparring because I've improved a lot. If the option of there of a stoppage, I'd love for that to happen, but I just don't go in there with the mindset to outclass and school my opponent. The rest should fall into place. Owen Cooper believes he can outwork Jamie Stewart and take the Midlands welterweight title from the champion. And they also clash at the Telford International Centre tomorrow evening. That'll be November 19th for those listening, as part of the Queensberry Promotions show. And that will be with the BT Sport cameras rolling live. The two battle for the belt in a 10-round contest, which Stewart has completed when taking the crown and defending it once, beating Alex Fearon before drawing with Ben Fields. The title holder, who makes the trip from Longton in Staffordshire, also has an 8-round draw with unbeaten prospect Florian Murku in on a 3-2-2 pro record. Cooper from Worcester is 6-0 with full 6 rounds under his belt, and last time out at this same Telford venue where he defeated Richard Helm. Let's see if there's a quick quote here. Yep. I've probably had more sparring in this camp than the rest of the team put together. No messing about, just getting lots of rounds in. There's been a lot of hard work done. This is an easy one to get up for. You've got to get the title on the line against the lads that have some good results. He's a champion, and he just won't hand that to me. He's done 10 rounds on a couple of occasions, whereas I haven't in an actual bout, but I'm not worried about that because I've done it in the gym no end of times. I know it's going to be tough, but I feel more than ready. I know I've done everything that I possibly could to be prepared, so I'm confident. It'd be nice to get him out of there early, but I'd never go in there looking for that stoppage. I've given him the respect he deserves by training tirelessly. I can match him for desire and work rate. I will show on that night. I'll have to go looking for him, and that could be in my favor. If he comes forward, he'll walk into a few shots, and my style is to get at my opponent. So I've got all bases covered. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm going to take it. Finally, let's have a chit chat about Ben Vaughn. Ben Vaughn wants to keep busy as he gets on a similar track, the one he landed him as a host of honors at amateur level. He goes again on BCB stage a Friday night fight. That's the Friday night fight I've been talking about at the Park Inn Hotel over on Silver Street. Again, it was to take place on September 9th, but here we go tonight. Vaughn is highly regarded, having undertaken 69 amateur bouts, emerging victorious on 54 occasions. Comes out representing Kings Heath Boxing Club, and he became a 4-time national champ, going all the way in the English schools, juniors twice, and youth tournaments. His last competition fight came in 2020 at the England Elite event, where he won by first-round stoppage, but the pandemic curtailed any further progress, sadly. Let's have a quick quote here. I was pleased to get my first knockdown in my last one, but it caused me to make some mistakes. I'm going out looking to finish him when I should have stuck to the game plan. He was a tough opponent who was game and came to have a go. We were both throwing punches, which made it easy for me to see the gaps. I feinted a 1-2 in the second round, threw a left, and he went down. There were only a few seconds to end the round, so I knew I wasn't going to end there. I went after him in the third and started taking risks that I shouldn't have. I got a telling off when I got back to the corner for wasting a round. I corrected that in the fourth, so it was a good learning fight for me and ultimately a comfortable win, but I'd still love to get a stoppage. When I turned pro, I had the ambition of becoming a world champion, and that hasn't changed. When my first opportunity comes along, I'll treat it like a world title shot. Oh, BCB has one more person to mention. Nico Michael has already broken through the pain barrier to get himself to optimum condition for his pro debut. His introduction is set when BCB stage, he'll be at the Friday night card in Northampton, Silver Street. That's tonight. Those listening over in England. He's had to overcome an appendicitis since making decision to punch for pay. After a final amateur appearance fell by the wayside, Michael was supposed to be part of the MTK Box Cup in August, only for that tournament to be cancelled, for which then he then fell ill. His amateur career concluded with 9 wins from 13 bouts, having started out at Northampton Boxing Club before moving on to Kings Heath Boxing Club. The latter switch saw him move over to a pro-am establishment, bringing him under James Conway's tutelage, and they'll work together again in the pro ranks. He's 27 years old. He's super flyweight, and first became involved in combat sports through kickboxing, but didn't take up boxing until the age of 20. He said it's been a hard camp, mainly because of the weight that I've had to shift. Because I've been unwell, I did put it on, but I'm in better shape than I've ever been now. I had appendicitis. I was watching Sam Daly, stablemate, and fellow professional signed to BCB box one day, and all of a sudden, my right hand started to hurt. Oh, my right hand side started to hurt. I was walking around and it was still bothering me, so I went to see a doctor who told me that I needed to have my appendix out, which meant a few weeks out of the gym. I'll say. When I was ready to come back, I got in touch with a nutritionist, Jack Koch, that I'd seen on Instagram, working with Billy Joe Saunders, and I had about 8 kilograms to lose. But we put together a nutrition plan that fueled me up properly, and I was actually quite enjoyable. And I wasn't once to get tempted to go against it, even for chocolate. I'm an IT engineer and I work from home a lot of time, which helps me plan my meals out and means I'm never far away from being able to train. Now I'm going on to live the dream of being a pro boxer, but not just here to have fun. I'm fully focused and I'll be going in there to do a job, starting with my debut. I'm strong at the weight, so hopefully I'll be a heavy hitter at Superfly. I can come forward on the box on the back foot as required, and I punch correctly. So he says. All right. Well, thanks very much for joining me, boxing fans. Appreciate it. That was a Friday wrap up. We're looking forward for the 4 p.m. Knuckle Up show with Mike Orr and Cedric Ben, and of course the Friday night panel with Tim Witherspoon later on 7 o'clock Eastern time. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you later on.